Hi, this is our AC video presentation. My name is Austin.
My name is Diego. We're getting an AC power source. Then we gotta get a ground. And we gotta grab some resistors for it.
I don't know who wants me. You don't know? Doesn't matter right now. I need to
And you gotta connect them all up.
We just need to, I need to understand how I'm not getting the angle. Bro, the calculations are right. The math is not mathing.
And you gotta set the ground color to black so you know what the difference is between positive and negative. That's gonna be. Now we gotta grab an oscilloscope. And you gotta make sure you gotta swap your VRMS to, we chose 3 volts and we chose 1000 frequency. Just wire it up. Don't forget to run the circuit so you can actually get the correct measurements. Stop the circuit. To measure peak-to-peak voltages across the voltage source, you gotta open up the oscilloscope. You gotta make sure you set the blue line to Y max, and you gotta set the red line to Y min. The peak-to-peak voltage is set right here. It's 8.472. We wrote that in right here. To find the VRMS, since it is peak-to-peak, you have to do 0.353 times the voltage peak-to-peak, which that would give you 2.99, which is basically 3, which is what we started with, because it's across the voltage source. To find the period, you will zoom it in the scale, wrong way. You put the red line all the way to the left and pull the blue line all the way to the right. It'll give you right here the time. It's going to be 1 microsecond, which is what we have written down here, 1 microsecond, or if you want to see it this way, 0.001 seconds. The frequency, to calculate the frequency, to make it 1000 hertz, the frequency is going to be 1 over the time, slash 1 over the period, which will be 1 over 1 microsecond, which will give you 1000 hertz. It's R2. Find the measurement of R2 peak to peak. Let's zoom it in a little bit. You're gonna grab the red one, snap it to the middle, the bottom. I'm gonna grab the blue one, put it up top. Over here it shows the peak to peak. It's gonna be 2.768 volts. That's what we wrote here. To find the VRMS, like we did across the voltage source, it's gonna be 0.035 times the voltage peak to peak, which is 0.353 times 2.768, which that would give you a value of 0.977 volts. The period is 1 millisecond. I'll show you how to get that. Put the red all the way across, blue all the way to the right. Again, so it's here, 1 millisecond or 0.011 seconds. And to calculate the frequency is going to be 1 over the period, which is 1 over 0.001 seconds, which will give you 1000 hertz. It should be equivalent to your measurement across the voltage source.
Alright, so now we're going to build the circuit. So we're just going to put these in really quick. And we're going to use a 680 and 330 ohm resistor. You can tell this one's a 680 because of the colors on it. So I'm just going to put it there. And then this one's a 330. You can tell with the different colors on these. So next we're going to plug these in. Just like that. This one's There you go.
And just turn everything on.
So now we're gonna go and measure the voltage peak to peak. So we're just gonna go here and go to voltage, and then we're just gonna, and there you go, there's your volt peak to peak. And for the old school method, you would just count the squares. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the VRMS, you would do the same thing, and you would just go down until, there's your VRMS. So now we're gonna go ahead and measure the period. So we're gonna click on measure, go to time, and period, and that's the new school way. And for the old school way, you would count in between here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's the old school way. Now we're gonna go ahead and measure the frequency. So we're gonna go to time, and then go down to frequency, and there you go, there's your frequency right there. Now we're going to go ahead and measure the channel 2 volt peak to peak. So we're going to do the same thing, go to voltage, and then go down to volt peak to peak. And that's the new way. For the old school way, you would just do the same thing, you would count the squares like that. And now we're going to go ahead and measure the VRMS. So we're just going to go back to here, go down, let's keep going, and there you go. Just do that, and there you go, there's our VRMS. So now we're going to go ahead and measure the period and frequency. So again, you just want to go here, go to time, and for the new way, you would just click period, and there you go. But for the old school way, you would just count these squares, leave these 2 out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we want to go ahead and measure the frequency. So again, we go to measure, go to time, and there you go. There's your frequency, which is the same.